Hi guys, how are you doing now? I excel you and love the information, love the knowledge, and love the truth. And so, it's great to present a work, or if I'd say, if you will, a homework, presented by conversation teachers, related to Orwellian language, vastly used by the media, by the mainstream media, by the culture constructed media, concerning those who contradicts with massive evidence, with actualities, with their vast, full, thorough knowledge and detailed minutious investigations, which are conducted by serious people, and the gaps and the biases and the lies and the frauds which are perpetrated by the mainstream media, and those who contradict systematically, and media, mainstream media, just without any kind of piety, defamation, injury as well. Their narratives and the trophies and their reports. What is the interest behind this iron curtain, which is apparently imperfect? How date it needs to be. It's covered enough it, as long as I explain the First Nations beyond anything related to the derogatory term, to the dismissive term, to the violation term, to violation of truth, to violation of free expression as well, of fake news and related to Orwellian dictatorial interpretation, sociological historical interpretation, as have been found in his masterpiece An Form, released in 1946. So that's great. I shall explain it to you. An election of 2016 occurred what we knew as an explosion of fake news. Explosion of the fake news announcement, or as well, the false announcement. Because narratives are always constructed, or by lack of integrity, or by bias, or by lacking with proposal, with full intention, the gaps, which if we understand and aside beyond the official narrative, could enlighten us about the true reality, not only of the political relations, but also of what is behind the iron curtain, the thick layer of the rope of the lies and hoax, which are meant to be an Egypt state, an Egypt system, which is thereby controlled and under profit. And so per the fake news in the time which the people liver, the racist bitterness exists, Mr. Trump was elected in a state against the candidate as pose of Mr. Clinton, a criminal, a drug dealer in the times before and also during after his presidency, Hillary Clinton. And so it was, and so it remains. This tremendous, as I don't know if it's a record, but remember there's a quotation by a journalist, by a very renowned journalist which indicates all this strengthened but action panorama, who declares with all the letters Valeton that the mainstream media losing credibility as it real service, as actual service, highlights that it is very desperate, and so to dismiss its adversaries by means of a crackpot being rebooted at all, and seldom make any kind of derogation of censorship and fake news is the proper one to go on with this derogatory plan. And also, if we shall remark thereupon that if people knew who is perpetrating this fake news hysteria, they would most reckon more. And so with the using our oral language, a prohibition, journalized the prohibition narrative, and also with all the medacity, which is found and hurled up by the media. And so, who does away with everyone who contradicts, who manifests, who protests correctly, systematically against the narrative of master media, which is by the furtherance which is demonstrated by Anna Rosette, Mr. Murray, Mr. Kurt, and every thought that mainstream has reached, including science and religion as well, besides the relative politics and the information wars, if this is very correct to describe the situation. And so, if we have this fake news as an oral instrument to to shock and to piss anything off out of the standard of the real is true, so we have the fake news as illustration of what, how, and why people who rise in the power, who rise in this deep, almost perfect, almost unknowable season, but also susceptible to whistleblowing and to provisory or temporary revelations, which are very true, which are massively investigated and leaked. And so we have that. So we have a situation, and we send a message always from that when Napoleon rises to the power, he just exiles and also slays who contradicts with adequate behavior, with their sincere heart, with their heart devoted to disclose and to reinforce the truth against all the others, and so they did it. And so Napoleon, with its apparatus comparable to Mustang reservoirs and just military complex, and the 5th and 20th century exiles and then manipulates, handles all the animals in the farm. And thereafter, nobody is able to complain because they're all stupid. They're honored. They're orchestrated as well. And so Napoleon gains control of the narrative. And it's Napoleon official narrative. It's delusions. It's lies. It's frauds. It's swindles. It's exile and enslaved killed as did, for example, with Squealer, as I can remember. And so there is. Our language is universally real, is actual. And not only 1924 demonstrated, but its previous book and Revolution. So, thanks for the personal answer this video was supposed to have. And this is a resume of what anymore could be inquired, could be surveyed, could be prevailed. We must raise the vast bibliography in the subject, and the manipulation of media and the media cover-ups, and all the lies the establishment, defamations, and offenses, and knee-jerk reductionism, which is revealed by a flurry of reports and a plethora of his characters in this matter. Thank you, and may Ishvara be with you all. Excellent.